Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we've been handed a stack of source material that is less academic text and much more high-stakes, magically dense fairy tale.
Absolutely. It's full of immortal tricksters, ancient secrets.
And it really gets into what happens when desperation collides with, well, with very dangerous promises.
It does.
Our mission today is laser-focused. We are taking the entire really complex journey surrounding the adventures of Evangeline Fox, and we're deconstructing exactly how one hopeful girl's simple desire for love became the unknowing key to an ancient, massive, fate-driven scheme.
That is the perfect setup. This deep dive centers entirely on that collision point between the Meridian Empire of Lenda, that's the world Evangeline knows.
Right, the familiar.
And the magnificent North, where fairy tales, they literally walk and curses are tangible things.
So we're following Evangeline Fox through a series of, frankly, increasingly catastrophic choices.
We are. It all begins with a desperate deal made with the Prince of Hearts, who is a notoriously dangerous fate.
And the source material just meticulously maps her evolution, doesn't it?
It really does. She goes from being this heartbroken victim to a nationally recognized savior.
And that fame gets her tangled up in northern political intrigue, a horrifying murder accusation.
And then the unraveling of this deep-rooted prophecy that touches on the missing fates themselves.
The scheme that we uncover is it's astonishing in its scope.
Completely. And it's all built on leveraging human emotion.
Especially broken hearts, which seems to be the currency in this world.
The primary currency. It's all used to achieve these grand, celestial, political ends.
What's chilling is how immediately and violently the consequences manifest.
Right away.
The opening sequence just sets the tone perfectly. A desperate bargain is struck with an immortal. It's intended to stop a wedding.
A simple request. On the surface.
But it ends instead with the entire wedding party turned instantly to stone.
It's a literal interpretation of a promise, but it's designed for maximum devastation.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We need to start with a closer look at Evangeline and the precise anatomy of that initial fatal bargain.
To understand the catastrophe, we have to start with Evangeline Fox's fundamental nature.
Who she is at her core.
Exactly. She is inherently, profoundly, and I would say almost stubbornly, a hopeful believer.
And this wasn't accidental, right? It was a product of her upbringing in Valinda.
That's right. Her father owned Maximilian's Curiosities, Whimsies, and Other Oddities.
Which is such a great name for a shop.
Isn't it? And it taught her early on that even mundane objects could be more than they appeared.
And her mother was even more important to that worldview.
Oh, absolutely. She instilled this unique perspective on stories. She was from the magnificent North, and she used to tell Evangeline, all stories are made of both truths and lies. What matters is the way that we believe in them.
That background just solidified everything for Evangeline, didn't it? Her faith in magic and fairy tales.
And in the potential for this eternal consuming kind of love.
Even when all the evidence around her pointed toward a much more bitter, mundane reality.
And that reality arrives in the form of a really classic heartbreak. Her motivation for seeking out magic is, it's very simple.
Luke, her first love.
Luke. He's marrying her stepsister, Marisol Tourmaline.
So Evangeline is convinced this betrayal, Luke's sudden silence and his coldness, it can only be explained by something external.
She thinks it has to be a curse. She believes Luke must be under some enchantment, which is why she dedicates 2 full weeks to this obsessive search for the legendary door to the Prince of Hearts Church.
And she finds it hidden away in Valinda. The door is just instantly recognizable.
By that jagged, serrated slash forming one half of a broken heart.
The sources really emphasize how difficult it is to get in. She has to wedge her fingers into that jagged edge. Right. To draw a drop of her own blood just to activate the magic.
And as she does, the door actually speaks to her. It whispers.
It does. It gives her this active warning. Do you know what you're about to step into? Nothing but heartbreak will come from this.
And that's the core of this dies, isn't it? The magic itself is completely upfront about the danger.
But the human desperation, her desperation, just overrides all logic.
Her choice is even more desperate because she is well-versed in the lore surrounding the fates. She knows what she's getting into.
She understands that the 16 immortal fates, who are described as malevolent, possessive, and immensely powerful, they are not benevolent saints.
No, they're keepers of bargains, but those bargains are always rigged.
And the critical rules of engagement are carved right into the lore. She knows them.
She does. The first one is, Always promise less than you can give, for fates always take more.
Which is paramount. If you ask for one thing, they will ensure the cost is triple that.
Then there's real. Do not make bargains with more than one fate.
And finally, the rule she's really risking breaking, which becomes crucial to the whole narrative.
And above all, never fall in love with a fate.
These rules set the expectation for absolute disaster, yet her intense need just compels her to go forward anyway.
And we should remember the context. The fates have been mostly absent, trapped or vanished for centuries. They've only recently returned to the world.
A detail that becomes very important later.
Very. And Evangeline is seeking out the most notorious of them all, Jax, the Prince of Hearts.
When she enters his church, this cool, dim cathedral, the expected scent, it's supposed to smell like one's greatest heartbreak.
But it doesn't.
No, instead, the air is slightly sweet and metallic, apples and blood.
And that immediate sensory detail, it just signals a shift. This isn't about her sorrow.
No, it's about the inherent danger and the potential for violence that's just associated with him.
And Jax himself is this fascinating combination of tragedy and menace. His card in the decks of destiny represents unrequited love.
The statue in the apse, it depicts a demigod and it details his curse.
The ability to kill with a kiss, fatal to all but his one true love.
Whose existence is supposedly mythical. She's the only person who could make his heart beat again.
And when Evangeline finally meets him, Jax is literally tearing his own clothes and mocking the very idea of reverence. It reinforces his cruel, dismissive nature.
He looks tragically handsome, but completely ruthless.
So Evangeline begs him to stop the wedding, and his initial demand is just. It's so calculated to exploit her.
He demands 3 kisses.
Right, and he specifies, relax, pet, I don't wish to kiss you. It would kill you, and then you'd be no use to me. I want you to kiss 3 others. Who I choose, when I choose.
He even clarifies they have to be real kisses with tongue.
That distinction, real kisses, is such a wonderfully bizarre detail. It just emphasizes the level of control that fates demand. It's not just a gesture.
It's a sacrifice of intimacy.
Exactly. But Evangeline, still driven by her singular tunnel vision goal of stopping the wedding, she manages to secure one term.
Jax must promise not to kill anyone.
He agrees, he grants her request, but the sources note he looks visibly disappointed.
Which suggests the promise limits his natural inclination toward destruction.
And that disappointment translates into pure, malicious literalism. Evangeline, already sick with fear, races back to her mother's garden.
Instead of finding a canceled wedding, she finds the result of his promise.
9 granite statues,
Yeah.
including Luke and Marisol, frozen mid-toast.
He fulfilled the letter of the bargain. He promised not to kill them, and as statues, they're not dead.
But the cost is devastating. It leaves the entire party in a state of, living purgatory.
This is where we should pause for a key insight. Jack's power isn't just magical.
No, it's the ability to weaponize semantics, to weaponize hope.
He knew her greatest fear was death, so he chose a consequence that was technically non-lethal, but infinitely more agonizing.
Both for the victims and for Evangeline, who immediately has to shoulder all of that guilt.
Absolutely. Jax appears utterly laconic about the carnage and reveals the reversal condition.
Someone has to willingly take their place by drinking poison from a brass goblet.
And the goblet itself is a dark joke, isn't it? Etched with the warning, "Poison, do not drink me." It's so cruel. And Jax offers one final, cold piece of advice, a warning that will haunt her.
If you do this, that will never happen. Heroes don't get happy endings, they give them to other people.
But she's driven by that guilt and that stubborn, battered hope.
She clings to the belief that her self-sacrifice will inspire Luke to save her in return.
So she drinks the foul liquid. The source says it tasted like burnt bones and lost hope.
And she becomes a statue, conscious, feeling the agony of loneliness and the crushing weight of regret for 6 long weeks.
And this moment, driven by her fault and desperation, paradoxically establishes her public reputation as Valenda's sweetheart savior.
It's a tragic irony that her defining heroic moment was born entirely from trying to fix some mistake caused by her own desperation.
6 weeks is a very long time to be frozen. Evangeline is conscious the whole time, enduring this kind of psychological torture where she constantly feels the arrow of heartbreak and the pinch of regret.
And her rescue is not orchestrated by her beloved Luke. No, it's a rescue driven by political pragmatism, orchestrated by another fate. Poison, also known as the Poisoner.
Who is now working, bizarrely enough, as the palace potion master for the Meridian Empire.
Okay, let's establish the context here. If the fates had vanished, Why are they suddenly popping up in positions of power? We need to ground ourselves in the week of terror.
Excellent point. The Fates had been recently returned to the world. They were trapped inside a deck of cards for centuries, and when they were finally released, they immediately caused mayhem.
This period of chaos was dubbed the Week of Terror. They were actively trying to seize control of the empire.
So Poison, looking remarkably like his fortune-telling card.
Draped in a dramatic green cape lined in copper leaves, surrounded by bubbling beakers in his lab.
Right. He is one of the Fates who chose to work with the crown to avoid a severe punishment.
So Poison, the palace alchemist, uses his skills to reverse the stone curse. And he immediately provides a critical, if somewhat self-serving warning to Evangeline.
He confirms that Fates always hurt the people they helped, and he explicitly cautions her that she is far, far too trusting of their kind.
And his motive for helping Evangeline and the crown is purely geographical and practical, which is just fascinatingly petty for an immortal being.
He doesn't want to be exiled to the magnificent north.
That's it. He claims the magic there negatively impacts his abilities, and he simply finds it too cold.
This immediately establishes that the Northern Kingdom is a place of exile, a place of difficult, chaotic magic, and a territory that Fates actively try to avoid.
Which makes Evangeline's later journey there even more significant.
Now, while she was a statue, the narrative was already being written for her.
Yes. The press, specifically Cutlass Nightlinger of the Whisper Gazette, transformed her into Valinda's sweetheart savior.
Her story, of taking the place of the wedding party and drinking the poison, it inspired people all over during that difficult time.
She is instantly catapulted into this unwilling celebrity status, a hero for a crime she thought she committed.
And the fallout of this fame is swift and deeply personal. She returns home to discover her stepmother, Agnes Tourmaline,
has sold her father's beloved shop, Maximilian's Curiosities, which was meant to be hers.
Agnes claims Evangeline was effectively dead, and now she's aggressively exploiting Evangeline's new status.
She's orchestrating a public suitor application process, hoping to marry her off quickly for financial gain and to help Marisol's reputation.
This reveals a great deal about the pressure on Evangeline and just the ruthlessness of her family.
But she fights back with surprising wit and, I would say, magical leverage.
She does. She weaponizes her proximity to Jax, spreading a rumor that she's still cursed.
And that her kiss turns men to stone.
Which immediately disperses the long line of eager, avaricious suitors outside her house.
And it causes Agnes's veneer of maternal care to drop instantly.
It's a moment of necessary self-preservation, and it solidifies her desire to escape Valinda completely.
She discovers that Luke and his family have already left Valinda, which confirms her suspicion that Luca's apology note was old and hollow. The door to her past is closing.
And her manufactured future as a Valinda celebrity is just suffocating her.
And this sweetheart savior narrative, however false it is exactly what catches the eye of royalty in the Meridian Empire.
Empress Scarlet Marie Dragna and Princess Donatella.
They invite Evangeline to represent the Empire at the North's most treasured celebration, not never-ending.
This is the formal ball where Crown Prince Apollo Acadian will choose his bride.
And they view her as the perfect ambassador, brave, selfless, the hero of the Week of Terror.
And to proactively address the curse rumor that Evangeline herself created, the royal sisters show her a special edition of the Whisper Gazette,
which confirms the rumor that her touch no longer turns men to stone has been corrected. The monarchy is actively managing her public narrative.
For Evangeline, this invitation is everything. It's a chance to return to her mother's mysterious homeland, the place of true fairy tales.
And a chance to step out of the shadow of her past mistakes.
She sees it as the potential for infinite, happier endings, completely unaware that she is walking directly into a new, far more complicated trap.
Evangeline's journey into the North is a journey into genuine, ancient magic. She travels through the Gateway Arch,
which is guarded by these beheaded statues known as Valors. And this isn't just decoration, is it?
Not at all. The Valors whisper pleas to her. Free us, they rasped. Restore us, help us.
This immediately establishes the North as a place steeped in ancient, unfinished business.
The magnificent North is where fairy tales and history are interchangeable, where magic is raw and often cursed.
Stories literally change with the retelling, and some tales can't even leave the region.
And we need to remember this distinction. Valinda had fates returning, but the North has its own entrenched old territorial magic.
We get these delightful world-building details right away.
Oh yeah. For instance, northern magic manifests in these small, pragmatic ways, like the common sight of tiny pepper black dragons.
No bigger than chipmunks.
Exactly. And they're used domestically to roast food, blow glass, and heat drinks. It's a land where the fantastical is utterly normalized.
But the danger is present too. At the first royal event, we are introduced to the royal phoenix tree.
A colossal structure that takes 1,000 years to mature and whose leaves turn to real gold.
But Evangeline is warned not to pluck a single leaf.
Because doing so would cause the entire tree to burst into self-immolating flames.
This concept, immense beauty matched by catastrophic, immediate risk, that is the North in a nutshell.
And Evangeline's personal history ties into this northern curse through her favorite childhood tale.
The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox?
It's a cursed story about a peasant fox girl and the young archer who is cursed to hunt her down and kill her.
Crucially, Evangeline never knew the ending because her mother would always forget when she reached the climax.
A direct example of the northern story, curse actively twisting the truth to protect its secrets.
And just as she's settling into this new reality,
Jax reappears.
he is the snake in the garden again. But with a striking change, he now has dark blue hair.
Which seems to symbolize his evolution or maybe his forced distance from his southern tragedy.
He's operating as a close confidant to Crown Prince Apollo Acadian, having been exiled from the South for nasty business with a princess.
A clear reference to the Donatella incident.
Jax now exhibits this cold-blooded grace and deep disinterest. He seems completely unfeeling.
He confirms he is all fate, less human and more strategic. And he wastes no time in leveraging the kiss Evangeline still owes him from their original bargain.
He forces her to kiss Apollo at the start of the massive ball, but not before performing a crucial step.
He paints Evangeline's lips with his blood.
And Jax admits he doesn't want Evangeline for himself. He only aims to make her more interesting.
This blood-infused kiss, amplified by Jax's magical will, instantly causes Apollo to fall deeply, instantly, and obsessively in love with Evangeline.
The enchantment is immediate and completely overwhelming. Apollo proposes within minutes.
Despite having just shown interest in another princess moments before.
This level of burning, instantaneous obsession immediately signals to Evangeline that this isn't real love.
It's manipulation.
Her resulting anxiety compels her to investigate the deeper mysteries of the North, specifically the Valerie Arch.
Okay, let's pause here because this is a critical pivot point. The source material establishes two competing cursed versions of the Arch's history.
Because any written versions of the Valor's history literally burn.
Right. So Apollo provides these two tales, eager to please his new obsession.
The first version portrays the Arch as a prison,
built by the Valors to lock up a terrible, unnamed abomination they had created.
After the Great Houses killed the Valors, they sealed the Arch using a prophecy as the lock mechanism.
And the Protectorate, defined here as a secret society of loyalists, was formed to guard the broken pieces of the Arch, ensuring it would never reopen.
The alternative version claims the Arch holds the Valors' powerful magic and a vast treasure.
In that version, wardens loyal to the Valors locked it with a prophecy to prevent theft by the greedy great houses.
The core takeaway, regardless of which version you believe, is the same. And this is crucial for you, the listener, to understand.
Prophecies in this world are not passive predictions. They are active, magical locks.
The prophetic lines must be literally fulfilled to create the key that opens or unlocks the Arch.
This investigation also throws a political wrench into the mix. Evangeline learns that Apollo's younger brother, Tiberius, is a member of the Protectorate.
Evangeline notes the tattoo he subtly displays, a broken skeleton key,
which is the confirmed symbol of the Protectorate and shared by the powerful Fortuna matriarch.
So Tiberius, the rebel younger brother who is rumored to have had a political falling out with Apollo, is foreshadowed as a major player in the Arch's defense.
Absolutely. So Evangeline has gone from solving a simple heartbreak to standing at the nexus of an ancient political war over a powerful prophesied key.
A key that Jax is actively and ruthlessly attempting to forge.
The pace accelerates dramatically now as Jax pushes Evangeline toward fulfilling these prophecy lines.
He forces her to accompany him to Fortuna Cottage,
to find a secret arch that the matriarch, Tabitha, is supposedly guarding.
And Tabitha is a hard-edged Protectorate member, identifiable by that broken key symbol.
Jax needs access to her vault, and since Tabitha won't comply, he uses Evangeline's enchanted kiss. He puts Tabitha under a temporary love spell.
This is a terrifying display of his controlled power. The killer doll of the Protectorate is instantly turned into a doting grandmother.
And she reveals the vault's location behind a vanity.
But in the chaos of the vault, Tabitha briefly resists the spell. She recognizes Evangeline
And gasps the prophecy out loud. You're the one who will open the Valerie Arch.
She confirms Evangeline is the prophetic girl and immediately tries to kill her with a knife to prevent the opening.
And Jax, in a moment of just ruthless resourcefulness, knocks her unconscious with a heavy emerald skull he finds among the vault's valuables.
This confrontation confirms Evangeline's prophetic importance, which forces her hand in the next major decision.
Despite Jack's earlier warning that heroes don't get happy endings,
She agrees to marry Apollo.
she believes the marriage will lift Jack's spell, curing Apollo's misery of being so hopelessly, instantly in love with her.
She chooses sacrifice over survival again, leveraging her position to free Apollo from the enchantment.
But the ultimate heartbreaking twist occurs on their wedding night. Apollo dies immediately after Evangeline kisses him.
She is instantly accused of murder by the royal guards who rush in, having heard Apollo yelling just before his death.
Evangeline, the sweetheart savior, is now a fugitive, framed for regicide.
And here's where the true depth of Jack's manipulation is revealed. He appears instantly and confesses to Evangeline. He tricked her.
The kiss was not the cure, it was the trigger.
The trigger for the poison that was already in Apollo's system.
Apollo was killed by a lethal mixture of malefic oil combined with Lala's tears, toxic tears from another fate, which was poured into the wedding wine.
This detail is so critical. Jax orchestrated Evangeline's self-sacrificing nature to ensure the prophecy line of her marrying a prince was fulfilled.
He didn't need the enchanted kiss to kill Apollo, but he needed it to ensure she was blamed.
Thus achieving her status of fugitive, wrongly accused, which is another line of the prophecy.
Jax confirms he didn't kill Apollo himself. He only engineered the mechanism of death to fall on Evangeline.
Evangeline, now a fugitive, flees with Jax, and their investigation of the poisoned wine takes them deeper into the world of the fates.
They first seek help from Lala, also known as the unwed bride. She's the fate whose toxic tears were the base of the poison.
Lala, appearing vibrant in a sequined robe, confirms that fates are fundamentally driven by these intense urges. Hers is the desperate need to feel loved.
Which ironically causes her to cry tears that result in unhappy, poisonous endings.
She denies direct responsibility for Apollo's death, claiming she sold vials of her tears a long time ago.
And she also reveals she was exiled from the South because of Jack's past actions, solidifying the idea that Jax has left a massive trail of destruction and unhappy fates behind him.
Their search for the true culprit, the person who bought the poison, takes them to the most macabre location yet.
The Lair of Chaos, a vampire fate who collects changelings.
And we should clarify what changelings are in this source.
Right. They are victims of vampires, those who have been bitten and are undergoing the slow, painful transformation into vampires themselves.
Chaos's lair is this terrifying mix of macabre elegance. You have shackles gleaming against limestone columns and human-sized cages dangling from chandeliers in the dining room.
He is the ultimate collector of lost souls.
Chaos confirms the specificity of the toxin. Malefic oil mixed with Lala's tears was specifically requested by a female,
Who needed a toxin that only worked on males?
which strongly suggests a very calculated killer. But the inquiry is cut short by a deeply personal discovery that shifts the entire trajectory of Evangeline's guilt.
She finds Luke Navarro, her first love, locked in a cage in Chaos's dining room.
And he's been bitten by a changeling.
Luke confesses he came to Chaos, believing vampire venom was the world's most powerful healer. He was hoping it would erase the extensive scars and wounds he sustained from a wolf attack.
Wounds that occurred on the way to his second attempted wedding to Marisol.
And Luke's desperate state leads to the shocking truth. Marisol used a powerful love spell on him.
The vampire venom, acting as a disruptive force, cleared his head. It broke the enchantment.
Which confirms he hadn't abandoned Evangeline willingly.
This proves Marisol's extensive use of illicit magic. It clears her name in the betrayal, but not necessarily in Apollo's murder.
Right. Her cooking spellbook, which we'll see later, confirms she had a love potion using malefic oil, and its side effect was ruined wedding days. The wolf attack was likely the cost of her spell, not Jack's doing.
The emotional climax of this scene turns physical. In a moment of sheer terror and confusion, Luke, now fully turning into a changeling,
He bites Jax.
and injects Jax with vampire venom.
Evangeline realizes Jax, whose heart had only just recently started beating again because of the Donatella tragedy, is now undergoing the transformation into a vampire himself.
He suddenly becomes warm, his hair reverts from blue to brilliant gold, and his incisors sharpen.
The Prince of Hearts is suddenly weakened, mortalized, and dependent on Evangeline for his survival.
That is an immense power dynamic shift. The one who has masterfully manipulated her entire life is now physically vulnerable.
And dependent on the very person he betrayed.
Evangeline and Jax escape, and they end up trapped in a crypt while Jax battles the vampiric transformation and the overwhelming bloodlust.
And to distract him from his hunger, Evangeline pries out the devastating truth of his past heartbreak.
He finally confirms the persistent rumor. Princess Donatella Dragna, Empress Scarlet's sister.
She was the mythical girl who supposedly can make his unbeating heart work again, his one true love.
But the reality was far from the fairy tale.
Oh, yeah. The heartbreak was monumental. Donatella never forgave him for that first fatal kiss, recognizing his lethal potential.
And eventually, in a moment of ultimate betrayal, she stabbed me in the heart with my own knife.
This excruciating event, rather than bringing happiness, is what forced his heart to beat again.
It established his cold, unfeeling nature, which is what Evangeline first encountered in the church. The deadness she saw was a direct consequence of trauma, not just immortality.
While Jax is in a deep, venom-induced sleep, Evangeline takes agency. She initiates her own investigation.
She sneaks into what she discovers is Jack's private library, hidden in the palace spires.
And this library reveals his obsession. Multiple copies of her favorite tale, The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox.
One of these is disguised as a cookbook, but it's actually a spellbook. This confirms Marisol's illicit magic use and provides a crucial pathway for Evangeline to find the true killer.
This spellbook is an absolute game-changer. It details the love potion using malefic oil, confirming Marisol's method and the side effect of ruined wedding days.
More importantly, it contains the recipe for an antidote,
which Evangeline shrewdly adapts into a truth serum. Serum for truths.
The ingredients are fantastical and specific. Crushed bones of the dead, which she ingeniously substitutes with a dead spider-charred dragon skin, an honest pinch of earth, pure water.
And crucially, 7 drops of blood from a magical vein.
Evangeline realizes she must use her own blood for the final ingredient, an act that confirms her own hidden magic and her northern lineage.
The serum's warning states it causes the inability to tell a lie and the urge to reveal any unspoken truths. This is her tool for justice.
She administers the serum for truths in a bottle of Fortuna's water to Tiberius, the new crown prince,
whose engagement to Marisol has just been announced in the press.
Under the influence of the serum, Tiberius immediately begins to suffer the side effects.
He confesses he did not kill Apollo, but that he is determined to kill Evangeline to prevent the prophecy.
He reveals his broken skeleton key tattoo, confirming his identity as a high-ranking member of the Protectorate.
The tension here is immense. Evangeline presses him, asking him to name her crime.
His jaw locks, struggling against the serum, but the compulsion is too strong. It proves definitively that Evangeline is innocent of the murder charge.
And he is then compelled to reveal the real killer.
His deceased brother, Apollo.
That is the ultimate twist of the knife. Apollo, who was magically enchanted and dying of lovesickness for Evangeline, was also the poisoner.
The motive, though only hinted at through Tiberius's reluctant confession, relates directly to the defense of the Valerie Arch and the terrible creation it held.
Apollo killed himself using Evangeline as the trigger, either because he was meant to be eliminated as part of the Protectorate's plan, or perhaps because he knew his obsessive love would compromise the North.
And finally, Evangeline receives the full, chilling text of the Valerie Arch prophecy from Tiberius, ensuring the prophecy is fulfilled in the telling, not just the doing.
First, this arch may only be unlocked with a key that has not yet been forged, a statement that immediately suggests the key is a construct, not a natural object.
Second, conceived in the North and born in the South, you will know this key because she will be crowned in rose gold.
Evangeline realizes her distinct hair color is the literal identifier, and Tiberius, under the serum, confirms her northern conception and southern birth, a lineage her parents must have kept secret to protect her from this exact fate.
And third, she will be both peasant and princess, a fugitive wrongly accused, and only her willing blood will open the arch.
She hits every single line. She's the peasant, the orphan and curiosity shop owner's daughter, and the princess via her marriage to Apollo.
She is currently the fugitive wrongly accused of regicide.
Evangeline is the literal, meticulously forged key.
And the most horrifying truth is Jax's full confession. He orchestrated her entire path. He admitted he was the one who asked Poison to save you and suggest to his empress that she send you to Nocte never-ending.
Jax engineered her fame, her journey, her marriage to Apollo, and her subsequent status as a fugitive.
Every single step, every emotional trauma she endured was simply a mechanism to fulfill the prophetic lines and forge her into the key.
The key needed to open the Valerie Arch for his own mysterious, deep-seated reasons. Reasons that we still don't fully understand, but which are clearly tied to immense power or freedom locked within that arch.
Evangeline's hope was Jax's ultimate weapon.
What an astonishing level of manipulation and intricacy. Let's review the essential paradoxes uncovered during this dive.
Evangeline, the girl who believed in happy endings and was crowned sweetheart savior by the press,
Was actually the unknowing, sacrificial pawn of a fate.
her deepest, most defining quality, her stubborn conviction and hope, was expertly exploited by Jax to ensure she fulfilled a deadly prophecy he created for her.
We can synthesize a massive amount of knowledge about the fates from this dive, particularly Jax. Their magic is not random, it's fundamentally driven by intense consuming urges.
Like Lala's need for love, or Jax's need for the art.
Exactly. Their bargains are less about fairness and more about setting in motion a complex chain of devastating events tailored to their ultimate goals.
They often leverage human despair and broken hearts to achieve objectives that can span centuries, as we saw in the immediate, chilling literalism of the stone wedding party.
So what are the key takeaways for you, the learner, navigating a world where magic and prophecy are literal mechanisms?
First, fated bargains are infinitely more dangerous than they appear. They always contain hidden costs that surpass the stated terms.
Often in painfully literal or semantically cruel ways, designed to maximize the fate's advantage.
Second, we learn a critical piece of world-building lore. Prophecies in this magical world are not merely passive predictions.
They are active locks. They must be fully, literally, and often tragically fulfilled to create the key that can undo or open the ancient magic they guard.
And third, the sources highlight that betrayal and villainy can stem from profound insecurity and not just pure malice.
Marisol's use of powerful, illicit love spells was driven by the desperation fueled by the cursed pride rumors and the constant disapproval of her mother.
It shows that even the person Evangeline assumed was a cruel rival was operating from a position of profound fear and instability.
Evangeline now stands at a unique crossroads. She knows she is the literal key to releasing an ancient, terrible power locked away by the Valors.
And the calculating fate who orchestrated this entire terrifying plan is currently weakened, mortalized, and physically dependent on her to save him from becoming a vampire.
When all the power dynamics are suddenly reversed, Evangeline is no longer the supplicant who begged for a favor.
She is the one with the leverage, holding both the key to his survival and the key to the most powerful magic in the North.
The provocative thought we leave you with is this. Given that her hope was used to create her tragedy, what new kind of bargain will Evangeline Fox, the newly empowered key and fugitive princess, strike next?
And what price, far beyond the mere currency of kisses, will she demand from the Prince of Hearts?